Watch yourselves with these women.
Hi, welcome to the Black Experience Japan's Melanated Files. The purpose of this series is to highlight the black people living in Japan. Who are they?
My name is Ashley Wallace. I'm from the United States of America, from a city called Country Club Hills, Illinois. It's a south suburb of Chicago, Illinois, which is the bigger city. When I was a university student, I studied abroad here in 2007. In my university, I was studying Japanese language and international business. When I came in 2007 as a 20-year-old college student, which is a way different environment as an actual adult working here and actually getting into the society and really figuring things out. It was mind-blowing to me, honestly. I had a lot of fun. And at 20 years old, as a young man with no responsibilities, no job or anything, it was amazing. So I said to myself, I'm gonna, continue my Japanese studies. I'm going to graduate and I'm going to come back to Japan and work and start my life and see what I can do. I've been in Japan for 7 years now. I am now working for a company where it's a dispatch company for teachers, but I'm working in the HR support division. The one thing I like the most about Japan, and I guess this might be particularly cliche, is that, the safety. I don't really have to worry about anybody messing with me. I never have to look over my shoulder. I never have to, worry about having my wallet in my front pocket or in my bag. I don't worry about things like that here. On the occasional weekends, you might have some drunk people that, may try to talk to you or bother you. And then some individuals that get a little disgruntled when they're, under the influence of alcohol. But other than that, nothing to worry about. The thing I like the least about Japan is still leaving in 2018, there's still you would still think there's still a very landlocked and ignorant society in a variety of aspects and a variety of different things. Can't really get into a lot of those now, but I would probably say, since we're talking about African Americans or just black in general in your interview here, is the perception of what black is. Okay, I've been, and for the record, no offense to anybody who is homosexual, but because of the way I dress and the way I look and the way I move, I have been called gay simply because I don't wear a fitted cap or I don't have the hip hop or the black look to what they perceive as black. Sometimes I have tested and kind of test people and mess around with them, to kind of see where their mind is. Just as far as, for example, I speak Japanese fluently. So immediately just even that, a lot of people think I'm half Japanese. And they don't even ask. Like, are you half Japanese? Or, oh, you're half Japanese, well, maybe I'm just African American or just a black person that speaks Japanese. So just things like that, they're still even working on in 2018. And it's kind of amazing. It's kind of fascinating. My favorite Japanese food is, I would say, tonkotsu ramen. It's for those who don't know what tonkotsu ramen is, it's a noodle dish. It's like a soup. The base is basically like a pork flavor. So I don't know exactly how it works, but I'm assuming they soak some type of pig part in some type of water or whatever it so may be to create this very rich and tasty pork soup with noodle and what's called chashu, which is like pork slices, onions, what else? And you can also top it with ginger, which is very good. Best life advice, it might seem cliche, but do what makes you happy and do what's best for you. Like, I'm a very open, nice individual. I tend to want to help individuals who are in need all the time, even if I don't have it, or even if it may not be in my best interest. I may have to set something aside, or I may have to, set myself back for that individual. So I definitely will say that, and I've been practicing that a lot more now, doing what's best for me, You only have one of these lives that you live. Go out and live it to the best of your ability, no matter what anybody thinks, no matter what anyone says to you. Go out and do what you want to do, when you want to do it, and how you want to do it. And don't let anybody hold you back at all. I don't want to leave here with no regrets when my time comes. So that's what I would say. It's been quite an experience. It's been ups, there's been downs. But as a black man in general, like I said, I think as overall, I feel like the perception that we receive is much more different and much more interesting than a lot of other cultures. And that's from my perception. Maybe I'm being biased. Maybe Indians or somebody else may think differently about it, but I really think that being black in Japan, I think, like I said, carries a stereotype just like it does in the United States and America, where I'm from. You're supposed to look like this. This is what you're supposed to be doing. They already have these premeditated thoughts in their mind of what the African American is and who they are. You know, like I said, just me being capable of speaking Japanese, it almost seems like sometimes I remember in the past, like speaking Japanese to individuals that I didn't know or met for the first time. This is my perception, and what I've perceived kind of seems like it's almost like a how can I say, a novelty for them to speak with me in Japanese, and with these with some, and I think for them it's not more or less when they're speaking to me in Japanese, they're not thinking like, hey man, this guy, man, he really took his time and studied. Hey, he really appreciates our culture because he's speaking Japanese. I think sometimes with them it's kind of like, oh wow, hey, look at the black guy speaking Japanese. Like, that's cool, isn't it? You know what I mean? And I never have that perception of a Japanese individual who speaks to me in English. My always first mind is kind of like, oh man, they're really putting in work, because English is not an easy language to learn. You know what I mean? Or they're trying, or you know what I'm saying. I respect that they're trying to practice. Now there's some that do try to practice their English with me, and they're not really trying to get anything out of it, except it's kind of like a segue. It's kind of like a door to get. It's kind of like a door to use to open up conversation instead of just saying hi, hello. I also think as a black man that that some Japanese are still ignorant, and just like some white people in the United States of America have this probably preempted fear of us, and that especially comes from media news, or probably from what people tell them, word of mouth. That we're these violent beings. Yeah, you're seen as strong and scary and, this threat, instead of them just coming up to you and saying, hello, hey, how are you doing? And trying to figure out who you are and what you're about. Just standing next to a female or somebody at a stoplight, I had experiences where they just tend to move away, think I'm trying to bother them. And it's like, I'm not trying, I'm just standing here waiting for the light to change. And it's like, they think you don't know what it is, but it's like, I know what it is. I've experienced this before. I know exactly what it is. And it's like, I've told that I've set them straight, some people straight about that. Like, I'm not trying to bother you. Why do you feel like that? You know what I mean? Oh, no, it's not that. No, it is that. Like, because when I came over there, everything was fine with you. You seemed okay, but when I came, you moved. For what? I mean, I had no intentions of bothering you, had no intentions of speaking to you. And I remember I was going to an interview in Kamiyacho, which is close to Roppongi here. And I sat, and my mind never plays tricks on me, and I think I'm a pretty well thought out individual when it comes to particular things. This woman, she was sitting down, looking at her phone or reading, one of the two, I don't remember. And then I'm in the suit, interview ready. I don't look like I'm a threat, or I'm coming over here to bother you. I have a sit down. Not even 1 minute after I sit down, she gets up and walks off. Now, it may be coincidence, but it seemed like at the time I couldn't sit down, she had no intentions of leaving at any point in time. So yeah, have had several of those experiences. I would say, first of all, try to create a strong support system with like-minded individuals. that promote positivity, because it can't get hard out here. I think it can get hard out here for any foreigner, but more or less I feel like for being a black foreigner, and maybe I might be sounding biased again, I think sometimes some avenues and some ways to get into things and to make money may be a little bit different, maybe a little bit more difficult than the typical average white individual. And maybe that's me being biased coming from a country that you see it. And I've seen it here. I've been in offices, I've taught, but when I got on the office side of things and when I went into some of these office buildings and I see the demographic, I never really saw any of us. I used to work for a security system. I used to go into Dow Jones. I used to go into Intel. I used to go into, Fortune 500 companies, And I would rarely see someone that looks like me. So luckily I got into some areas and I got into some companies where I could kind of break that stereotype and break that norm, I guess per se. And it kind of made me upset because okay, I'm doing this. Why? And I met many other brothers out here. Why am I not seeing more of us? Now I ran into some pretty successful brothers out here. Brother that worked at Deloitte and a brother that worked at AIG. Top level executive type cats. But that's not what I see a lot of. I see a lot of the, other people per se. So that's one thing I would say. Find a good support system. Secondly, some people are here and there with that. At this point in 2018, I guess more of Japanese people are starting to learn more English and kind of get up to speed finally. But I would say have some type of basis of Japanese. And I say that in my opinion. I mean, I have received help, of course, in my time being here, monetary, with advice, jobs, etc. But being able to navigate with the language freely, that's one support system that I didn't need, which also helped me move a lot easier. So I would say try to get some type of basis or foundation with the language somewhat. That's just my opinion. I've seen some people who here for years who probably don't know as much Japanese as I do, and they're living pretty all right. But that's just my advice. Secondly, watch yourselves with these women. Definitely. I'm not gonna say any names, but I've just met a brother recently. He's going through an extremely bad, court case and settlement with his kid and a woman and all this other stuff. And, he didn't even see it coming. He got blindsided by it, and I've heard several other stories. You really need to be cautious and be aware of A, how this woman really feels about you. B, does she understand the load that may come with being with you as an African American, just a foreigner is in general. And I would say 3, if you do get to that point with her where you think that you're gonna jump into marriage, or you feel you could trust her enough to have a family and to have a child with her, how much more of a load is gonna come along with your half Japanese and half black son or daughter. That's a whole nother thing to get into with the perception on that, because as soon as that happens, they're immediately labeled as what's called hafu, and it's not. I never felt like it's said in a oh, this is Japanese, just call them hafu. No, it's a label. That's what they label it. They don't call them Japanese, which in all actuality, since they were born here, they are a Japanese national. But at the same thing, they're African American, whatever other half that is. You know what I mean? So I would say really make sure about those 3 things, and really make sure that it's genuine. Because we've all been in love before. We had the veil thrown over our eyes due to that, and not really trying to see the big picture and really trying to see, is this individual right for me? Is this individual really for me? So yeah, I would definitely say that for the brothers. Well, you can reach out to me at on Instagram at Black Sunflower Samurai 1914.
Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to see weekly videos about the Black experience in Japan, feel free to subscribe to this channel. If you know someone that would like to be featured, or if you yourself would like to be featured, send us a message on our Facebook page at The Black Experience Japan, or send us a tweet on Twitter at TheBlackXJP. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.